Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. I'm glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about 3 powerful positive attitudes. Let me start off by asking you a question. Do you have good days and bad days? I mean, isn't it true that, well, every day is a good day, but some days are just better than others? You know what I'm talking about there? I mean, and sometimes they kind of go together. You're feeling good, things are starting out, say good in a day, and then maybe you get a disappointment or a frustration later. Isn't that the reality of life? Well, these powerful positive attitudes will help us break through that in whatever we do. So let's start out. The first starts with Mary Lou Retton, superstar Olympian. And Mary Lou Retton, well, I don't know if you know her story or not, but she's in the Olympics and she needed a perfect score to win the gold medal. Her competition was ahead of her and she had to be perfect. Now think about that for a minute. I mean, being in the Olympics is a good thing. Competing at that level is a great thing. Being involved in that, it energizes you. But here she is now, all these years of practice, and she's got to be perfect. And there's probably 1 billion people watching worldwide, 100,000 in the Olympic Stadium, and there you are. In order to win, you got to be perfect. I don't know about you, what would you be thinking? I mean, most of us would be thinking things like, oh my gosh, how'd I get into this? Get me out of here. What if I flub it up? Well, the rest was history because off she ran down there and she hit the horse, did her flip, threw her arms up in the air, and she scored a perfect 10 and won the gold medal. And then a little known fact is she went back and did it again and another perfect score. Wow, I mean, that's amazing when you think about it. And Dr. Dennis Waitley interviewed her after that, said, Mary Lou, what were you thinking when you were getting ready to run? She says, I'll tell you what I was thinking. She just kind of answered immediately. She says, I was thinking, I need a 10. I have a 10. I got to run hard, tuck, plant. This one's for you, Mom and Dad. And then she said, boom, I took off. What a great attitude. Isn't that what we need to do? She had trained herself and prepared herself so well. She knew exactly what had to be done. She believed it. She believed she could do that. And we have to work on our belief. Belief doesn't just happen automatically. It grows with preparation and rehearsal and practice and renewing our minds with good, positive things that we need to be thinking about rather than all the things that could go wrong. It's kind of the worry and anxiety kind of focus that happens to a lot of us. So that's what she did. See, she knew her goal. She had a plan. She had to run hard, tuck, plant. She dedicated it to others. It wasn't just about her. Oh, I'm going to get on the Wheaties box and everybody's going to love me and I'll make millions of dollars. What she was concerned about was her family. This one's for you, Mom and Dad. The people that supported her. The people that helped her. The people around her. In leadership, that's your team. If you're not the leader, it's your coworkers, it's your peers, it's your family that are around you. She dedicated it to them, not just the selfish desire. And then what did she do? Boom, she took action. That's what belief is all about. That's the first positive attitude that we need to have. Wouldn't you agree? That can help us get through those tough spots. The second one comes from John Wooden, superstar basketball coach. His teams at UCLA won 10 NCAA championships in 12 seasons. That's unheard of. Wherever you're from, that'd be like your football team in your community winning the Super Bowl 10 years out of 12. Nobody's ever done that. It's hard just to win 2 in a row. But his teams won 10 out of 12. And I remember reading a book and seeing some video about him, and what the behavioral scientists wanted to figure out is how could a coach be so good? And what they found out is he was 99% positive. Wow, think about that. Instead of thinking of the no, he was focusing on the yes. What couldn't be done, what could be done. On the problem, the possibility. See what I'm saying here? He was that positive. So when he was working with this team, he wouldn't say, hey, you screwed up on this. He would say, let me show you the right way to do this. Go like this. And he would correct them correctly rather than yelling and screaming and hollering at them. You know what I'm talking about there? Sometimes our frustrations, our angers, our disappointments overwhelm us. And we need to snap ourselves back and think of the possibilities. See, what happens is our mind will dictate action based on what we think about most. So what we need to be able to do is think more about the goal, not the problems. We need to think more about what we can do, what we can't do. We need to think more about, well, what's constructive, not destructive. Not the worry and the fear, but the faith and the hope and the possibility. And that is always something we can choose mentally. And when we choose it mentally, we act on it. A lot of times our actions, something constructive. See, I like to exercise. And, some days I don't want to exercise. I just get tired of it. But you know what happens? Even though I don't want to, and I'm feeling a little depressed about, maybe I should, but I'm not. But when I just stretch a little bit, maybe do a few sit-ups, a few exercises, next thing you know, my attitude changes. If I just start with small stuff and get started, next thing I know, I'm doing the whole thing and I get it done and I look back and say, why didn't I want to do that? That was so easy and it felt so good. That's what we're talking about here with John Wooden. That's what's possible for us. That's what separates winners from losers. Those who get where they want to go and those who don't. Now, the third attitude that I want to share with you comes from Babe Ruth, superstar. I don't know if you know the story about Babe Ruth. Near the end of his career, he was traded from the New York Yankees to the Boston Braves. Why? Because this aging star's skills weren't quite what they were in the past, so they trade him off. And he was in a game when the Braves were playing the Reds. And Babe Ruth was in the outfield, and he made enough errors to allow 5 Cincinnati Red runs to score. And the crowd was booing him. And at the end of the inning, as he was slowly jogging off the field, the noise got louder and louder. The boos were ruthless. And the noise was shaking the stadium. They were even throwing things at him and maybe saying a lot of unkind words. And as he reached the dugout, this negative noise just reverberated throughout the stadium. Suddenly, a little boy jumped out of the stands. With tears in his eyes, he ran up to the Bambino, his hero, and grabbed him around his spindly legs and gave him a great big hug. Babe Ruth bent over, picked the boy up, smiled at him, said some nice words to him, wiped his tears away, patted him on the head, and helped him back into the stands. While Babe Ruth did this, the crowd got quiet. They realized that here was a guy that was having a lousy day. And everybody was on his case. And what did he do? He cared about a little boy. They realized that now it wasn't his past glorious successes and home runs that mattered, nor even his present dismal failures. In spite of what was going on and all the problems he was having, he cared. I don't know about you, that's a great attitude to have in life. Because you know what? As human beings, we're not isolated from the world. We are social beings, and we're always connected to somebody in the things we want to do. And if we care for others, it's amazing how we may find they help us in what we want to get done. Samuel Smiles said that it's an amazing fact in life. When we help others, we help ourselves. We don't do any of this alone. If you want to achieve the dream, you got to have a team, and that's the people around you. And that's what this attitude is all about. I think you'd agree with me that it's important to believe in yourself. Know your goal. Got a 10, and I'm going to get to 10. And that it's important to work at being positive. Focusing on what we can do. The potential, not the issues. And then caring for the people around us. And they'll help us get where we want to go. It helps us in the down times so we can have more up times. It helps us be all we can be. Let me share this in closing with you. It's called Life's Divinity, and I also like to add, and possibility. See, every breath we have in life is a gift from God. It's precious. Every moment in life is precious. Every hour we're engaged in His life can be like a lifetime of what we can do and achieve. Every day is an eternity. Every thought and deed etched in the annals of time. Every choice immortalized. And these 3 powerful, positive attitudes are a choice. They're a gift that all we have to do is take by saying yes. Thank you for coming. I wish you the best of success.